Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back, guys, to another video. It is your boy, the Goated X. We are back, Go-to-verse, for another video. As promised, I said that I was going to give you guys a follow-up, I guess somewhat of a part 2 to the part 1 video, explaining ultimately why I went on that 2-week, well, these last 2 weeks I've been reflecting ultimately on what the whole full scale and overview of why this 2-month, slightly over a 2-month window period as to why I went sort of vacant and distant and went on such a hiatus period. And I guess ultimately, to be upfront and genuine, there was a momentum shift clearly that I had noticed distinctively and effectively throughout. The last time that video was recorded and uploaded was February 14th, which is a Saturday, Valentine's Day. After that, I tried to follow up that rhythm, but I will tell you one thing simply. I told myself on the 15th, then the 16th, then the 17th, then the 18th, the 19th of February, so on and so forth, and the weeks of February went by, then March, and I started realizing, boy, it's been like 2 to 3 weeks. I should start recording. Geez, these fly. Oh, it's a fly. I should start really putting emphasis and coming up with creative video ideas, because I'm very good and I'm very creative and constructive. I can really build upon, very unique ideas and constructive, topics, and really engage with my audience. But ultimately, with work, school, and I was working on other businesses, projects, ideas, and hustles that I have, I quickly started to realize, and you also can apply to this in your life too, when there's something that you want to do and you ultimately want to do so many things at once, and one clear thing that you set yourself upon doing, a goal, can easily become distracted and disoriented, and then next thing you know, the time and effort that you've put aside to dedicate towards that task, towards that idea, that goal of yours, or that vision, it starts to dwindle and it starts to fade. And subconsciously, you don't even notice it until eventually you go throughout a long period of 2, 3 weeks, a month and 2 weeks, 2 months, and so on and so forth, until eventually you don't reconcile with the fact that, wow, there has been so much time that has passed me by, and I could have made so much significant progress. I could have recorded 2 to 4 videos every single day. I could have been going to the gym every single day. I could have been working and learning on this new talent or skill. I could have been pursuing this new program, or this coursework that I wanted to get into, or I could have been more effective with my time and energy. I could have, who knows, gone about and socialized with some positive like-minded individuals, and actually built constructive relationships and developed my skills and talents more effectively, as well as a whole plethora of other things. But you so easily become distracted with old habits and old ways, and they can, quite frankly, within the blink of an eye, in you making that strong promise and that strong commitment of not going back, you can easily slip and fall or revert and relapse into these old habits and behaviors. And you tell yourself, hey, but it's only just a one-time thing. It's only a small break, it's a little bit of a recreation for me. It's some sort of a relaxation, a method to decompress, to reconcile with myself, to help me balance myself. But in reality, it's a distraction that you're implementing in order to garner a disclosed approach to what you actually should be doing, and you try to offset the workload, the commitment, and the the effort that you have to put forth in order to achieve those goals, visions, dreams, and aspirations that you have, and so much more. And ultimately, I have noticed that over the past, I would say a little over 60 days, I've came to the point where I was like, damn, there was so much like potential and so much time, energy, and capability and power that I had within me to like absolutely blow out of the water and really elevate to different tiers, levels, and standards of qualities of content. But I'm glad that I finally broke out of the shell, because other things that held me back was really I started to doubt myself and say, man, is this something really that I'm trying to be committed to? Because I believed in myself that I could scale, a massive audience, hundreds, thousands, millions of subscribers, engage tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, and so much more. But you start really settling in with these goals, and the realization starts to come about that, hey, this journey is going to be long, tedious, and it's going to be challenging. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. This isn't a flip on a switch that's going to all of a sudden turn you from an average, ordinary person to somebody that has a massive influence and, a grand appeal to the public. It's going to take dedication and commitment, consistency through every single day. I know it's important to look at the overall major goal at the very end of the tunnel and, aspire the grand scheme of things, the visions, dreams, goals, achievements, accomplishments. You embellish and you relish in all of your accolades, awards, trophies. You want your flowers and so much more, but you always have to keep in mind that those major and massive goals at the very end, you have this intermediate and small goals in between, and those goals are collectively compounding every single day. You may think that those small things that you're doing ultimately feel insignificant or improbable, maybe even dysfunctional. It's not really proving a significant purpose or value towards it in your life, but ultimately this is all concrete collective effort that you're implementing into what you want to achieve in your life, and you're gaining a substantial amount of consistency. You're building that momentum, you're scaling that, you're building that momentum, you're scaling that expectancy, and also you're really progressing upon the mission. You have to really, in hindsight, just take things one day at a time. And this is something that obviously I've applied and I've come to reason with myself. I'll be honest, as I'm also recording these videos, I'm doing this like right off the top of my head. So I'm doing a fairly decent job right now. And I will say though, even though in my mind I could think that this video could be recorded in a much completely different manner, more professional, more concise, more leveled up quality with the audio, the camera view, even my choice of words, because obviously I can heavily criticize myself every single time, and I'm pretty sure we all do this in a variety of aspects and facets in our life and what we pursue, whether it's our goals or dreams or visions, socially, among friends, family, or personally and privately on things we do. We tend to be a little bit hard on ourselves, which is not always a bad thing. It's good, it helps to build that criteria and set that standard for you to elevate that tier and level, and to keep progressing and moving upward up the chain, and really scaling to a different hierarchy and domain overall. And that's what we all should aspire to, achieve and progress. But obviously, that's when you come to realize that, your habits, your behaviors, your tendencies, they all play a massive and vital role in what conveys the individual and the persona that you are, as far as how you go about life, how you conduct certain things, how you react, how you respond to certain things, how do you think, how do you process, how do you convey certain ideas, how do you move about life, and how do you do all these things. And then not to mention the groups of individuals or people that you socialize with, that you deem are respectable individuals, that you garner advice from, you deliver attention to them, you listen to what they have to say, you allocate for their opinion. It's a lot of those things that play really significant, it could be impactful or detrimental effects in how you really perceive it. So that and a bunch more stuff, a whole lot of other things. And I mean, with that being said, it was ultimately that conclusion that made me realize, and it's like, hey, you know what? This is a promise I made, because just like every single one of you that's watching this video, we're in the year 2026. Soon, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, etc. will come about. It'll be approaching in the near future. Time moves on. Time is a dispensable currency. It is something so valuable and so important. It's vital and it's crucial that we maximize and that we obtain every single opportunity that we get and we harness it. Because you ultimately come to the conclusion that Father Time is undefeated. It'll continue to go forward. It will not stop. Every day that you put off something, every day that you decide, I think I'm better off doing it tomorrow. I don't feel like I have the energy. I don't feel like I have the motive today. I'm not determined. I'm not integrated. I'm not focused. I'm not vitalized. I'm not centered. I'm not dialed. Whatever the case may be, etc. Way but beyond those lines. There's a whole lot of other things I can list, but ultimately, you have to have a basis and a foundation for what you want to achieve and what you want to accomplish. Those goals, visions, and dreams and desires that you have are incredible. Those massive and large scale domain and regions of things that we have, plus whatever can exceed that level, which is possible, but you also have the intermediate and small areas and frames, which collectively on the daily basis, with those efforts, those routines, those schedules that we follow, we build a rhythm and we build a momentum that compiles. Although we may deem that it's very small and ineffective, you'll quickly start to realize the less you start focusing too much on the massive picture up ahead, which is not a bad thing, because you obviously should keep that in mind, because ultimately it's the main purpose that's driving that force of you being committed and willing towards achieving that life that you want, those goals, visions, dreams, and desires. But it's also pivotal that you don't undermine and underestimate and discard the small improvements and changes that you're making on a daily basis towards the intermediate and medium adjustments and modifications in your life that you'll eventually see on a weekly to monthly and periodic basis, that'll eventually in the long run lead to massive yearly and 2, 3, 4, 5 period long intervals of long time frames where you will actually scale massive success, achievement, and accomplishment. Appreciate the little things in life and value them. You have to be grateful for what you have. This now pivots to, I guess, what I wanted to talk about today. although I'm now 15 minutes ultimately into this video. But I would say with gratitude, it's something really important and really something so significant that we humans tend to, I would say, disregard and really undermine and significantly undervalue at times. Because, like I said, society, we're so driven by competition and the appeal of what it means to be successful and what it means to accomplish things and what it means to become better overall. Because we all want nice things, nice car, clothes, jewelry, be able to travel. I want to have a better job. I want to have a better physique. I want to look a certain way, have a nicer hairstyle. I wish I had this different appeal. I wish that I had this person's ability to talk. I wish I had this person's charisma, this person's comedic mannerism. I wish I had this person's ability to talk, convey their ideas, and so much more things. But you all have to realize that we all are unique in our own ways. We're all not perfect. We all have our flaws and our issues. But we can't get caught up in the idea and the vision that there are people in this world that we perceive and think that they're perfect, that they have their lives all together. Because even celebrities, influencers, like people with massive influence and a level of exposure that's grand, those people are not perfect. They make mistakes. They're just as imperfect as you are. Now, they are obviously grateful for the things that they have ultimately. A lot of them, majority of them, they had to work hard to get where they needed to be, to achieve the level of success and the accomplishment and, you know, a lot of the things that they have, their career, their finances, their social life, etc. All those things. They really collectively endorsed the discipline, the commitment, the consistency, the dedication, the respect, the integrity, the collectivity. Sorry about that. That was a little bit of a fly. That was funny. The routine, the schedules, the principles, the fundamentals, and so much more. For the most part, majority of these people did. And they can recount their stories of when they were up and coming, the struggles, the challenges, the adversities, the oppositions they faced, the people that told them they weren't good enough, that they couldn't do it, that they were wasting their time. Why should they have pursued? Why did they even think and fathom about pursuing such a lucrative and crazy idea and making a career out of such a thing, or something that they thought was really challenging? Because ultimately, just because somebody else did it, you were excluded from it, pretty much setting the premise and foundation that, you know, it's only a select few. You have to be born with such a gift or a talent. Otherwise, you are nothing more than a gimmick and a fraud. A lot of these people, they encountered failure. Every single one of them actually encountered failure in one way, shape, or form. But they're all grateful for a lot of things. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them are grateful for the fact that they didn't give up. Keep that in mind. Gratitude is something that is very effective and significant in your life. You might not like your situation and your circumstance right now. You might be going through a whole lot of issues and problems. Financially, socially, privately, personally, with friends, family members, your money, your expenses, You are probably dealing with health issues, unhealthy relationships. I mean, I can keep going on and on, the list goes on and on, but ultimately, hard times don't last. One thing that has helped me too is the fact that going through these tough times and challenges, I always try to maintain the mindset and the appeal that there's always a lesson that I can learn from these situations and circumstances, because it's meant to make you a better person. And it's hard for us to grasp that in those moments that, we're really stressed and we're anxious and we really want things to just be solved with just a flick of a finger. But that's not the case. But ultimately, everything gets better. 100%. But your course of action, your decisions, your choices, your thoughts, your behaviors, your tendencies, your determination, your willingness, your circles, your reactions, your word of mouth, and a lot more plays very defining and definitive effects on what can occur, which is why you need to try your best to lean towards a more you need to lean towards a more optimistic and positive appeal, and really distance yourself from a pessimistic and negative appeal. It's going to better you overall and really improve the significance of your life. I know it may seem very challenging, it may seem very difficult despite the frustrating circumstances, but if you really do incorporate yourself towards being more grateful to what you have in your life, and it may not be much, and not compare yourself too much to other people when in regards to what their success, their achievements, their accomplishments, their goals, visions, accolades, awards, etc. They all had their own set of battles, oppositions, difficulties, standards, requirements, metrics that they had to meet and they had to go through. They all had their story. They built it, they crafted it, and they went through. They went through the struggles, trials, and tribulations. They effectively incorporated those procedures, schedules, routines, followed through with their commitments and promises, even though on days where they felt great, enthusiastic, energized, the days where they felt diminished, undermined, stressed, anxious, they still persisted and pushed through because they knew that it was only temporary and that success was literally just right around the corner with the opening of a door or a window. And ultimately more and more doors and windows opened up. And that's how it's going to be. But you have to really want it. You have to really want it. How bad are you willing to, how badly do you want to achieve your dreams and goals? I know you're probably going to open up social media and you're going to see, oh damn, this next kid who's like 18, 19, 20, or even younger, or this old, who knows, even an older adult too, because it could happen. Damn, they just broke into this new online business scheme, or I'm not saying scheme, but business idea or model that they've obtained, and now they're scaling 4, 5, 6 figures a month or more, and they're just accomplishing like incredible feats, which is great. But you have to understand that everyone's trajectory towards success, victory, accomplishment, achievement, towards their goals, visions, dreams, and aspirations is different. Some people might do it in a month or 2 or 3, 4, 6, a year, 2 years, 3 years. But what's going to help you get there quicker is that consistency, the willingness, the dedication, the commitment, the effort, the determination, the resilience, your character and integrity, and more. All those things combined, even though I can keep going on and talk for hours and hours, but not to make this video too long, but all those things play a vital role. And gratitude is a very fundamental and significant aspect. Because always remember, there's always somebody that's in a much worse position than you are. There's always somebody that's struggling more, and that person would ultimately wish that they had your life. As very weird, and you would think it would be a lie. It's plain and insignificant and irrational to think that somebody would want your life given the situation that you're in. But somebody else doesn't have a roof over their head, warm food. Somebody could be dying from an illness that's terminal. Somebody has probably done some really harsh things in their life that now they're coming to terms where reality is, coming face to face and actually showing them that, hey, your actions have true consequences, and these consequences are really brutal, and these people are wishing that they can take things back. So always be reasonable with yourself, rational, and always think very well on what you want to do and how you want to go about things. Your mind plays a very pivotal role, not only in how you perceive things and how you view things about the world around you and people, but your goals, vision, and dreams, you can envision them and imagine them and perceive, and so much more. Your effort, your determination, your willingness, your desire, your concentration, your abilities, attributes, talents, routines, rhythms, momentums, and so much more. It's all put together in a compartmentalized puzzle of pieces that all collectively form the grand, massive picture that is your dreams, visions, goals, achievements, aspirations, desires, and more. But the mind does play a very vital and significant role, which is what manifestation plays a role into, which we will get to that in the next video. I wish I could have talked a lot more about gratitude. I'll probably carry it over into the next video, but I'm glad I was able to mention a little bit about it. But yeah, hopefully this video wasn't too long. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love every single one of you guys. If you guys are new here to the channel, if you can leave a like, if you can subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to scale, get to 100 subscribers. That's goal number 1. I've got a lot of plans, projects that I'm working on, guys, and so many things I want to tackle, but I realize you have to take things one thing at a time. You have to be patient, really not let yourself get ahead of yourself, and just take things one day at a time. That's what it is. It's collective. And yeah, I guess with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful evening or morning whenever you're watching this, or afternoon. Stay safe and healthy. I promise I'm going to try my best to upload morning and evening. If not, you're getting at least a minimum 1 video a day, but I'm aiming for 2 videos. And I'll try to do, I would say, the 15 to 20 minute mark. This one was 30 minutes because I went a little bit over discussions of things. But with that being said, thank you so much, Go2Verse, for watching. Love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. It is your boy, the Goated X. We are out.